Hello, my loves. Welcome back to another video here on Starseed Academy. My name is Jenny. I am so happy to be back, and I just want to thank you so much for being here because I don't know if you noticed or not. Some of you may have noticed that I've been like MIA the last 3 weeks, and normally you would see me here like every Sunday. What is this? Hold on. What do we have? Okay. Normally you would see me here every single Sunday, but I've been so sick. So I got COVID in, I think, early December. It might have been late November. And then ever since then, my immune system, it literally wiped my immune system out. And I've had it before and that didn't happen. So I really think we're dealing with some very strong viruses this year, just in case any of you else are really struggling. This is so not like me. I take all the supplements, like I normally have such a good immune system. It was crazy. So that just meant like I was picking up everything. Every time I left the house, I got sick. I get sick for 2 weeks too. Like everything was lasting way longer, and then I'd get better for maybe 1 day or two, and then something else would happen. And this went on for like over 10 weeks. It was like almost 3 months. It was crazy. So thank you so much for your patience with me. I am back feeling so much better and so grateful to be here. So today, I really want to talk with you about something that I have noticed in my reality that means something deeper than you think that it means. And I just have this feeling like it's really going to hit home for a lot of people. It happened today. I'm filming this on randomly on a Tuesday, but anyway, it happened today, and I feel like you're really just going to relate to this. So I really want to talk to you about like how timelines actually work and how they show up to invite you in, if that makes sense. Like showing up to invite you in, and then you can choose whether or not that's the direction that you want to go. And sometimes it's pleasant and sometimes it's not, but it's always like just an invitation and you don't have to choose it. So I really want to talk about that, and I want to give you an example of what had happened to me. But just before we jump in, please remember to subscribe to this channel, like this video, share this video, and yeah, just your continued support means so much to me. Okay, so what happened was I experienced this complete opposite response to something that I was putting out into the world, right? On the same day. Like it was very much, you could tell it was like a sign, I'm probably gonna like put some screenshots somewhere on the screen afterwards and edit them in. So basically this was about my Starseed mentorship, right? You've probably heard me talk about it, especially if you're on Instagram. It's called Sovereign Creator Codex. And what's going on in there is pretty wild and out there, because I'm really helping people connect to their Star Nations alliances. And your Star Nation alliance is these higher dimensional beings or counselor group of beings that you are here to be an ambassador of, that you are here to represent and anchor in that frequency of, which means that this is directly related to what your gifts would be, what your mission would be, and who you're here to serve, like your ideal client. So I've been doing this with a lot of different people, and I have all of these crazy, beautiful, but like you'd never even think of them, crazy examples that I've channeled for these people, brought through for them about what their mission is and what their gifts are and who their alliance is with. And it's so specific, and it's so unique, and it's so powerful. And so I was talking about that, and I put out this post about how someone was here to be a window to the Grand Central Sun. If you would like to actually read the details about what this person's actual mission was and how their soul gifts worked, how they could be a window for the Grand Central Sun, like plasmic rays of ascension and DNA evolution, how can you be a window for that, and what does that mean? Please check out Instagram, because I don't want to like repeat myself. It's already over there. That's not what this is about. This is about people's reaction to it. Okay, so this should be fun. I posted this thing about this person. This is real. This is absolutely real. We channeled that, I say we, but like I channeled for this client all this information about their mission and their purpose. And whenever I do this, even though the idea sounds completely crazy and out there, or just flew by to confirm this, the client always validates it with so many signs like, oh my God, stop, I'm getting chills right now. You could never have known, but this particular thing happened, and then this, and then I had a dream about this, and last night I was meditating about that, and I just started thinking this particular thing. She said, stop, no, like I literally just started hearing about that the Grand Central Sun was even a thing, and went down a rabbit hole about it last night. There's no way. And I'm like, that's why a lot of the time Spirit's going to prepare you before I'm going to bring something like crazy sounding. You're going to be like, okay, this girl's off of her rocker. But instead of that, Spirit softens the idea for you by opening a door or a window in this way, so that when I say it to you, you're like, oh my God, it's real. Because this is such a crazy synchronicity. There's no way it's not real. And it helps them. Spirit does this for people, for me, every single day. It's not for me, it's for them, right? So that they can really believe in what Spirit is showing them. That's why synchronicities and signs like that happen when you're channeling. It's for your client, not for you. Although when you're at the beginning of your journey, I'm sure it helps with confidence. But I didn't feel, I feel like it's for the client at this point. Anyway, what is the point of this? So I experienced two complete polar opposite reactions to this. I post this on Instagram, and then I decide to follow up with an email to my email list, basically outlining the same information about what this person's gifts were and how beautiful I thought it was, and like just what's possible inside of this mentorship. And so the polarity, which I'll probably pop up onto the screen now, was I immediately got an email with someone saying like, oh, no, they already paid. They didn't even have to ask me a question. They immediately they saw the post about the Grand Central Sun, went onto my link in bio, purchased Sovereign Creator Codex, and then emailed me how excited they were to get started. And then I also got an email from someone who said, oh, I wish I could, I gotta look, because you're gonna be able to see it right now on the screen. What was the actual wording? So the person, the person that was like on the level was like, oh my God, honestly, I'm beyond excited. Thank you so much. And then the other person was like, overpriced gibberish, right? How could you get two completely different reactions on the exact same experience? And so this really got me thinking about, ooh, this is a lesson for me and for everybody. This is juicy. Like, this is great. I love this. This is so good. How can we go deeper into what just happened today? So I get my trusty Metatron. No, not Megatron. Why does everybody on Instagram think that I'm talking about Transformers? Metatron is an archangel and an ascended master, okay? I get him involved because he is like one of my go-to people. And I'm like, what does this mean? And some of the first things that he started saying to me was like, play with this in your mind and in your heart. What do you think it means? And I'm like, I think it would tell someone like what timeline they're on. Like, what timeline are you on? So put yourself in my shoes. Use your own example of when something like this has happened to you, right? But try to put yourself in my shoes, maybe just for this example. What does this mean about me? What timeline does this put me on if I get this unbelievable love and this unbelievable like hate from one thing? Because does that mean I'm on the higher timeline or the lower timeline? If I'm experiencing both, what does this mean? Because you can only perceive of that which you are. So does this mean I'm on both timelines? Is that possible? Am I bouncing back and forth between the two? Like, really, what does this mean? So that's what I asked Archangel Metatron. I'm like, what does it mean though? Because I don't like, I need some clarity here. I know it has something to do with where I am rooted in. And I know it has to do with like, these two people are clearly on two different timelines, but I'm in the middle. So what does this mean about me? So this will help you know what this means about you when you get two completely different, complete opposite polarity on the same situation. It obviously doesn't have to be the same thing that I'm saying, but think about something where you go to a grocery store. Why is grocery store always Jenny's like example? I have no idea. I guess I really love food. You go to a grocery store and someone reacts so favorably to you. Maybe you're in a line or something and someone's like, hope you're having a great day, or ooh, nice choices in your cart there. And someone else like is like giving you the death glare. Two completely opposite polar reactions, like complete opposite polarities in a same situation. What does this mean about us, right? Okay. So here's what came through. So I want you to think about reality like a forest of matter. And the lights are out. So the truth is that it's actually like a black void of potential. And this is the feminine side of source. That's a whole other video though. So the feminine side of source is a black void, a black womb of pure potential that everything comes out of. And that the only way that, and she births everything, galaxies, stars, you, everybody births out of the void. And then the masculine version of source is the opposite. It's this big, a lot of people see this when they see source, it's like this big glowing light, like a sun almost, a huge sun, that is just filled with light and everything, every piece of, every color, every part of a DNA, everything exists within masculine source, and then feminine source births it. So masculine source sends into the womb of creation bits and pieces of matter, and she gets to birth these wonderful life. She births life. Okay. Galaxies, universes, everything. So I want you to visualize, instead of that you're in a womb, because that's kind of hard, I want you to visualize that you are in this forest and it's pitch black. There's no even moon out tonight. You can't see anything without your flashlight. You can't even see your hand in front of your face. That's the kind of darkness we're in, okay? Because that's what like a black void needs to be, complete darkness. You're in this dark forest of matter, of reality. And whatever you shine your light on, flashlight in this instance equals your attention, but we'll come back to that too. Whatever you shine your light on comes to life, becomes real. And if your light's not shining on it, it doesn't actually exist. Even though it's in a resting dormant state, it's not alive. But whatever you shine your flashlight on comes to life. And your flashlight actually means you're observing it, or your attention, okay? So this really reminds me of like quantum physics, specifically string theory. I believe, I could get this wrong, but I believe it's the quarks that I need to talk about. So I'm pretty sure it's the quarks, am I saying that right, part of string theory that only exists when you are observing it, right? So these particles or this matter only exists or lands in your dimensional reality when you are observing it. And if you're not observing it, it stops existing, right? And I know that there's a lot of different experiments. I think there's also one about like a cat in a box, where if you're not looking at it, it's not there. And then when you're looking at it, it is there. And somehow they have scientifically like measured that this is true. So again, you can research this, I'm sure. String theory, quarks, only existing or landing, anchoring, existing in your dimensional reality if you're actually observing it. And as soon as you pull your flashlight, your observation away, it stops being alive. And then whatever your flashlight is on is alive. And this really plays into simulation theory too, and you can see why, obviously, right? So seeing these two opposing realities that I saw from this one experience is me, the creator being, and you, when you get into these situations, seeing two opposing realities is you as a creator being exploring in the forest of dark matter what's out there. Because if you're seeing this and then immediately have an opposite, it's like, imagine yourself in that forest, shining your light over here and looking, and then shining your light over here and looking. You're in explorer mode, right? You're like, oh, what's available for me? What are the realities I can choose from? You're this sovereign creator. You're this creator being exploring in a forest of matter, in the forest of pure potential with your flashlight, and deciding where you want to live. And this obviously could all be happening subconsciously or higher consciously, more like it. So you're being shown options. So this example is me being shown two different options, which happens, right? So I do one thing, send out one email, you talk about one thing, and these two completely opposite, opposing polarities are actually options showing themselves to me, which is me shining my flashlight or attention over here looking, and then immediately over here looking, and then maybe coming back to center or something. So it's me, exploring and deciding where it is that I want to live. So I'm being shown these options, which happens when you are in this unmoored explorer mode. Unmoored means, I think I just saw an orb, unmoored means you're not currently anchored into one choice. Unmoored means unanchored, right? So that says a lot about where you are in your life if this is happening. This is what it means. So I'm obviously in this unmoored explorer mode. I'm in explorer mode right now, and I'm checking my options, which we do at different points in our lives for different reasons. And it means I'm not currently anchored into a choice. I'm not locked in. I'm not currently anchored into a timeline, right? Or some people call it a lifeline, timeline or lifeline. So ultimately, all of this means you're in between timelines. Or you're in between timelines when something like this happens to you. That's what it means, okay? But that is your sign that you're in between timelines, because there's not a lot of signs other than what's, random symptoms you might feel in your body. Oh, am I anchored into a timeline, or am I in the unmoored explorer mode? That really tells me I know exactly what's going on. I'm in explorer mode with my flashlight. I'm walking around. I'm not anchored in. I'm exploring. I'm walking around my options. Okay. Why though? Because there's different reasons why you might be in between timelines. It could be favorable or maybe not so favorable. When you're in between timelines, are you sinking or are you rising? Because you're not anchored fully in one, but why? Did you start to slide out of something good? Or did you start to rise up into something better? Either way, you're at a very critical window right now of choice. Choice. And you choose with your flashlight. You choose, your choice is actually made with the flashlight. You don't have to do anything complicated to choose, right? You want to anchor into a timeline, then only illuminate the one that you want. Think about that. If you're only illuminating with your flashlight, and what does your flashlight represent? Your attention, the observer that you are putting your attention on something. You can only illuminate one timeline if you want to anchor into that. And if you want to move, then you start looking around, and that's allowed. That's fine. You're allowed to do that, right? But when you're ready to settle and you've made a choice, you always get what you choose. Humans get what they choose. Humans get what they choose. And you choose with your flashlight. What are you choosing right now? What are you illuminating in your reality? What are you allowing your precious light of observation of the godlike creator being that you are to gaze upon, to even acknowledge it is in existence? This takes a little bit of discipline then, doesn't it? Because you can't allow yourself to observe what you don't want anymore. And that's all it is, right? And you can do that. It's not complicated, but it is a discipline thing. Because if you don't want that, you don't want to anchor into that timeline, you can't look at it anymore. You can't observe it anymore. You can't give it your attention. You can't shine your light on it. You can't, because you'll end up there. And that's how it works. You're going to get what you choose every time, but that's how you choose, is what you shine your light on. I think that there's so many layers and levels that we could go into about this, but I think that's the basic plot, right? So you already know what I'm about to say. When you're arguing in the comment section online, what are you doing? Like when you're, a lot of what you're going to observe is going to be through email, like it was for me, through socials, through everything online, because our physical worlds have feel a lot smaller now. And then our windows into reality is actually the internet and your phone and your laptop. It really applies here. What you shine your light on is what you allow yourself to observe. And that is what will anchor you into that timeline. Even if you're on an amazing timeline and you don't mean to let go, by shining your light somewhere else, you will unlatch and you will end up there. This is critical. This is a critical window. Right now, clearly I'm in between timelines. Now, I think for me, it's because I've been doing a lot of beautiful inner work and working on my health, obviously, for what I said at the beginning. And I do feel like I'm rising. So I'm okay with that. But it's still a critical window of I need to be careful where I'm shining my flashlight right now. Because if I'm unmoored, I could end up anchoring somewhere I don't mean to or want to. Right? So I hope that this just gives a whole new perspective on timelines. I better pop off. I have a class in 2 minutes. Oh my God. It feels so good to be back here with you. I love you all so much. Hey, if you're like the first email and you're actually interested in finding out what your Star Nations alliances are and your mission and your gifts and who your ideal person is that you're here to serve, come into Sovereign Creator Codex. I'll make sure the link is in the description. If not, you're fine. It's good. Please don't send me any emails about it though. And I love you all so much and thank you. And before you go, please remember, listen to your heart and the quiet voice within. Because you are so much more than the body you are in. I love you, beautiful starseeds. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye.